Welcome to the Hibbing Economic Development Authority regular meeting. Today is Monday, September 8th, 2025, 5 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We do have everybody in attendance tonight. Adds and deletes. Number 1, delete number 7, department and committee reports, number 1A and 1B, and 8, loan request number 5. And number 2, add number 7, department and committee reports, number 1F. So we need a motion to approve the agenda for tonight. Can I get a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion made by Mayor Hyduk,
Second.
supported by Member Egan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, approval of the minutes. Approve the minutes of the Hibbing Economic Development Authority meeting of August 11th, 2025. Can we get a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion made by Councilor Schweiberger,
Support.
supported by Member Cameron. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to the consent agenda. Approve the disbursements for the month of August in the amount of $382,650. Number 2, affirm the Economic Development Loan Fund as of August 31st, 2025 in the amount of $1,400,123.22. And number 3, authorize the Heda members to attend the AMGS ribbon cutting open house on September 19th, 2025 at 1122 East 13th Street, Hibbing, Minnesota, 55746. Can we get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam President, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read and published.
Motion made by Councilor Hoffman-Sockman,
Support.
supported by Vice President Drainus. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to our presentations.
Madam President, members of the board, the first presentation tonight is from Andrew Henigman, the IRM deferred loan request for the Crown Ballroom improvements. And there are 2 pictures that he's going to use to talk about that tonight. So Andrew, if you want to approach the podium.
Yeah, good evening. So I own the building that used to be the Crown Ballroom, and in that building we have 4 separate floors, and there is there are 2 elevators in the building. One was functioning when I got the building. That one serves basically the fourth, however you want to look at it, the club that is in the building. So what used to be the Crown Ballroom. In the back corner of the building in 1921, they built basically a freight elevator that has all the systems still there. When I purchased the property, it was rough around the edges, pigeon feathers, broken glass, sewage, things like that. All up in there, we took a deep look at the elevator and got it initially running, then of course got it red tagged by state inspection, and so we want to do what it takes to get it fully functional. There are currently 2 entire floors that are not served by anything more than a 30-inch door and a staircase. So we are looking to have them served by a freight elevator, material handling lift as it's called, which will go up and down. Can you see this on some screen?
Yep.
You can. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's basically current state of the elevator. It's very large, so it's a 10 by 10, which is actually really hard to get approval to build, but we will need to do a load test, build a door for the basement floor, do interlocks at every floor so that it can't run while moving, and then take out the hardware or the electrical inside the elevator so that you cannot operate it from inside the elevator. And then this is the motor, which actually one of the shivs inside that shaft has to be replaced as well. Safety switch on that electrical system we're going to fix. We have identified everything works, so we're pretty confident it'll just be a renovate. once the switch is fixed. If you bypass the switch, everything functions. Any questions? Or is that how?
What
we
kind of
do it?
drive is that?
What?
Is that like a chain drive? What kind, piston drive? What kind of drive?
Yeah, so
system
it's,
is it?
metal rope is, what's the dang?
Cable?
Cable. I mean, I used to be an engineer until just now, I lost it. Okay, so, there are, 3 cables. So back then they did 3, now if you rebuilt this, you'd do 6, but each cable is rated for, like a 2,000-pound load, and then
Okay.
there's a 1,500 load capacity. 1,500-pound capacity on the elevator currently.
Madam President?
Jennifer?
Thank you, Andrew. I just have a couple quick questions here. You're trying to get it set up so that it works. It will be up to code as well?
Yeah, up to code. So bringing the system up to code for a material handling lift, not a people elevator.
Oh, okay, because that was going to be my next question is, you're going to try to have access to those 2 other floors? You can't bring people up to those 2 other floors using this elevator? Okay,
No, the alternative, we've gotten quotes in vicinity of 300 to 350,000,
okay.
and we're just not gonna do that.
So you're just going to try to have that elevator for storage or whatever you're going to do up on those other 2 floors?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you, appreciate it.
Madam President, members of the board, Andrew, will you also explain why there's only 1 quote with your application?
Why there's only 1 quote?
That was the only one you could secure?
Oh,
Typically, we
yeah,
require
yeah,
2.
yeah. So a little bit of history. So I've been trying to solve this since day 1. And we went through various iterations, gave up on those iterations. There are limited elevator companies. I contacted everyone in Minnesota, a few in the Midwest region, offering full renovation quotes, or we did find a elevator that would replace that system and do first floor just to basement for $75,000. And it was 4 foot by 5 foot for a pallet size. So that was not, even if I got grant money, I wouldn't, that's a misuse of funds, just to serve first to basement for $75,000. And like I said, no one else does retrofit. So Larson Elevator, the owner used to work at Otis, knows basically the process for bringing material handling lifts. So it's a very, very niche expertise, and then very few people can serve that in a financially viable manner.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for Andrew?
I just have I used to ride that elevator back when I had a spot at the Elks. It hasn't looked or changed any. It looks like it's the same thing we used to ride back in the day. Pretty bad.
Yeah, that shaft had kind of where they put, instead of bringing all the old LEDs or old fluorescents to the dump, they filled the elevator shaft with the fluorescents. And all the pigeons died and pooped and all that on top of it, and we had to clean that while stepping on the glass. So it was a mess.
What's your time frame, Andy?
I would like to accomplish it this year, so if I can secure funding, we will go ahead and get moving. I think we're expected to finish in a 6-day project.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think at this current solution and rate, we could do it this year.
Very good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Nobody else has any questions for,
All right, thank you very much.
thank you.
The second presentation then tonight is Hibbing Heating and Air Conditioning, a revolving and a deferred loan request. Sean and Crystal White are here today. They're the owner-operators of that business, and if you would approach the podium and just give the board a rundown on your project real quick.
Hello,
How are you
I'm
doing?
Sean.
Hello.
This is my wife, Crystal. We're looking to replace the roof on our building. We have a HVAC company and a drain cleaning business that we run out of this building. We've been in business for 11 years, seem to be going strong, and we're just in need of a new roof.
I have been working with the owners on this loan request since March, and they've been really due diligence with their application and things. They did get 2 quotes. There's only one in the packet because this was the lower of the 2. So,
We actually got 3, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so any questions for them? Their business plan and things are in there as well, so. And they are in the focus district for the deferred loan, and then they're gonna fill the gap with private equity and revolving loan as well.
Sean, are there HVAC units on the roof?
No,
Okay, so there's no curb work or anything like that?
no.
Okay.
There's 4 skylights that are being removed.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
And then we have the collateral as a skid steer.
Yeah, the collateral is in the in the loan write-ups. So we'll take a junior position on the building and those sorts of things, so.
Okay. Nobody else has any questions for Sean? We can move on
What
to
is
our
your,
next
I have
one.
one question. Your time frame too. I just like to know time frame, Sean.
We're hoping to do it this year yet.
Yet, before winter.
Yeah,
Okay, very good.
thank you.
Thank you,
Excellent.
Sean.
Thank you. All right, the third item tonight is 1907 East Third Avenue. Just the deferred loan request tonight from Mr. Lees. We're working on the revolving loan application, but we do not have all of the paperwork in yet. So, Mr. Lees is here tonight to chat with you a little bit about his project and what he plans to do with that location.
Good evening, everyone. This building is a recent purchase. It's right across from the post office. It is for Selman Title and Borland. They rent the facility. We bought it about a month ago. We're planning an extensive facelift on the outside, including new stone across the front. Obviously, the rest of the building would be metal clad, or some of it would be paint and so forth. There's some roof repairs, all new lighting throughout the building inside. Just basically a freshen up, I guess. It kind of needs, some new, mechanical things and stuff upgraded as well, so.
Madam President? So Betsy, you had mentioned that, thank you, Rich, by the way, that all the paperwork is not, you don't have all of that. And I think I see it's on the agenda to approve it later on in the agenda.
Correct.
So, do we normally do that?
So we can approve a deferred loan request pending the rest of their financing being secured. We have done that in the past. That's how it's listed down there below on the loan requests. Rich and I have talked. He has another deferred loan request on a separate building. So this would expend the rest of the funds in the $500,000 pot with his request tonight. So we would get to that last amount, and then he's going to follow through on securing the rest of the financing.
Yeah,
We
there's
talked
a
about that.
possibility I might not ask for the not the deferred, but the revolving part of it. It sounds like you can only do up to about a third of the project combined, and, so that shakes out at about 20-some thousand. We're probably, as I think it over, we'll probably just self-fund that part of it. We have the money in the bank, and can, there's just a lot of paperwork. The size of our portfolio is extensive, and it's very difficult to do interim financials in September for, a company of our size. I understand why you need it, but, we do them once a year, and it'd be different if this was a $250,000 loan. And don't get me wrong, it's all important and everything, but I don't want to hold up the project, and we want to get this underway, and we'll be happy with what we get, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
And Sheena has ways then in her finance department of, if we're financing a third of the project, she pays out a third of the, invoices as they come through, those sorts of things. So, as the project progresses, that's how we work those. So.
So I'm sure we'll be looking for your guidance when that goes down later on the agenda.
Yeah.
Rich, I noticed, that's a hip roof on that building, correct?
There's a barrel roof.
A barrel roof,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
The roof is in good shape?
It's in decent shape. It needs, there is some dollars involved in that first number. That's gonna be some, some roofing work that's gonna be, it is rubber up there that's probably about
Okay.
20 years old, but it needs a little bit of attention.
Yeah, I had noticed that too, that's why
Yeah.
I asked that question. So,
Right, yeah.
all right,
I'd like to ask for Mayor Hyduk, have a time frame?
thank you.
Yeah, we plan on getting, if approved, we'll get the stone ordered tomorrow, and that front will be done, we're hoping yet this fall. All the interior stuff, there's lighting and different things so that, the tenants inside can see a little bit better and so forth, so. That'll all get done yet this winter. Some of the exterior work might not be till, early spring, but the majority of it over the next 2-3 months.
Both tenants are planning on staying in the building once it's done?
I think it caught them by surprise that I bought it to begin with, so I'm assuming so, yes.
So I'm just curious,
Yes.
the underground parking, is that part of that building?
Yes, the post office actually rents that underground
Okay.
parking, and that's one of the tenants as well.
Okay. Thank you.
So is this tied to any job creation or retention?
That was on the revolving loan application, which isn't in your packet tonight, but yes, Rich, do you want to address those numbers?
Yeah, I guess, more on the construction side that we're creating the jobs. There's several different subcontractors that'll be involved, in this project. And, we're, to say we're creating jobs just because we're redoing the building is more construction related, if that's what you're asking.
I think more for these kinds of projects, it's more about the retained jobs, if you're fixing up a building that
Yeah, well,
somebody's
we
already
have
in,
four,
so.
Right.
Yes.
our
Right.
full-time employees, are involved in a portion of it, and obviously the full-time employees of these construction workers that we do hire,
And then the tenants.
and then obviously the tenants.
Yeah, yeah, that's.
So Sheena will need all of those numbers just to put into the
Of course,
packet,
yeah.
so that as we're doing the
Right.
loan docs, it'll be in there.
Okay.
But yes, it was more than one per 50,000, because this deferred loan is 30,000 only, roughly, so. But the total project is about 180,000, correct,
Correct.
Rich? Yeah.
Well, I think it's good to delineate because of the retention for the jobs, because Selman Law Office or the title company, if they have more employees, that doesn't go toward he can't count those numbers, right, for job creation.
Yeah, it's
And this
more
building
retention.
hasn't
It's
had
retention, right.
much attention and, thrown at it in, 25, 30 years, so it's kind of time.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Rich.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, the fourth item is Hibbing Parents Nursery School update, and one of the board members is here to present the request to the board. Welcome to the podium.
Good evening. I wanted to share an update on our moving progress. We have spent the last week of August downsizing, organizing, and packing so that we are ready to be out the door as the required construction is done. Abundant Life Church has also made the space available to us at any time. We have the keys and a signed contract. Last week, Wednesday, 9/13, Pia met with ESC, Pia, a board member, or the director, met with ESC Systems based out of Duluth to figure out exactly what fire system is required. And now we're still waiting on a proposal and a timeline. We had received a proposal from LVC the previous week, but they're not quite sure what is required based on the code review we gave them, which was done by Widseth. We are hopeful to get the quote in a timeline that will fit our needs. Additionally, Ingenuity was able to get their permit signed last week, and we are ready to start putting in doors as it is required by licensing. They put us on the top of their priority list, which I believe starts tomorrow. Furthermore, the company we hired to do the groundwork for the fenced-in park that we are required to have is scheduled to start their work on Thursday, September 11th. Once we have the necessary construction done, the building inspector has to sign off on a form he was given by our state licensor. The state fire marshal will also have to sign off on a form by our licensor. Once that is done, we are ready to move and have the licensor give the go-ahead. Given that this is our only opportunity to address anything to the HEDA board before our extended lease is up, we again are asking for an extension through the month of October, should the fire alarm system take longer than we hope. We, however, truly hope it won't be needed in the end. This will absolutely be our last request for an extension, as we cannot stay in this building once the heat has to come on. There's no doubt that we cannot afford the utility bill at that time. Once again, please know that enrolling new families and starting up our preschool program when we don't know the future of Hibbing Parents Nursery isn't an easy feat for running a daycare business. We are truly doing the best we can while also operating this business and taking care of the need for childcare for our families. The request is to extend the lease through the month of October if needed. We highly appreciate your patience and consideration in this matter.
Will you give your name to the board as well?
I'm sorry, Maria Erickson.
Maria Erickson.
Yes.
And there will be probably forthcoming, Maria, a request for additional funds to assist with that installation of the fire system when you have that, correct?
That's correct.
Because we do still have funds left in their relocation budget.
Okay.
So.
Madam Chair, do we have to make a motion to approve the,
No, that'll be a little bit later.
okay.
Yep.
Where are we at on the funds that's left on the relocation?
I believe we were at about $23,000, so they had roughly half of them left. But they do have access to some grants from outside of the city's funding as well. There was a potential deed grant, and we've chatted with the IRRR a little bit in case they need additional funding. So the team really did come together to try and make this work, this move all happen seamlessly. So obviously, Hibbing Parents is having to do the yeoman's work to keep the project moving forward, but the Resource Network team came together with some funding options, so we're working on those. So it shouldn't have to come out of their budget.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions for Maria or Betsy on it?
How are the numbers looking? Have the numbers changed a whole lot just with the whole confusion of what's going on?
To answer, yes. Yes. There's been a lot of differences in communication, miscommunication. We've gone from not needing an architectural firm to give the code review to the city inspector?
City inspector,
Thank you.
building inspector.
Yes, building inspector, to, actually, May 21st, we were told we needed a architectural firm. We had contacted Miller's Architect. They're not a local architect. They kind of were a little confused on what our daycare review code consisted of. And at that time, they kind of talked about, I think your biggest hurdle is going to be the sprinkler system in the location of the church. And that was it's a half of the building, or a half floor. It's like the basement. It's not really the basement. We call it the basement. At that time, we decided to move to the back building. It's a separate building, based off of what that architect had told us that could come from the review. We did not pay for review, thank goodness, because that would have probably been roughly $6,500 for them to tell us it would have cost a lot for a sprinkler system. At that time, when we moved back to the building, the city inspector had told us that he would be performing the review, and that was on July 8th. During that time, during the walkthrough, and can't provide an exact date of when that walkthrough happened, however, the pastor was at the church through all these walkthroughs of the back building. It was then talked about, the city inspector would recommend using an architectural firm such as Woodseth. At that time, we kind of were a little short on time with trying to move out of the building. We're currently in the Jefferson. And, a recommendation, we didn't think it was necessary. $6,500 for a daycare, we didn't think was necessary if it was just a recommendation. The code review actually came up with nothing we didn't actually already know, other than the fire alarm system, which we're not exactly sure what quite means yet. However, we do have ESC working on that. So that's kind of where we're at. Woodset did perform the inspection and came back with, again, just the fire codes, which we're still trying to figure out what those entail.
I know you have, you're putting an exterior door in,
That's
an
correct.
exit door, which needs engineering,
Yes,
architectural, and I know you're waiting on that because that has to be designed and approved, whether it's weight bearing or not. Is
and
that done?
that did just get approved,
It did just
Yes.
finally get approved, perfect.
which allowed our permit to go through.
All right, but I think what John was asking for is the numbers of kids, weren't you?
Right.
Right.
But I don't know
Sorry, went a little
exactly-
stray.
No, I didn't, I mean, it changes always affect things, right?
Yeah.
And my understanding was, us purchasing the building, you guys finding, we were gonna help, we as the city was gonna help find everything and make it seamless. So I'm curious how the whole process was, like, did it seem like it was a headache or it was smooth?
It did not feel smooth.
What's up?
It did not feel smooth.
Okay.
It was a little challenging. Our daycare board and directors, our directors take care of children. They're not administration. All these codes are very hard to figure out what they really are. I mean, an architectural firm didn't know what the codes meant or were, what we were looking for with a daycare code review, what that entailed. There's not a lot of clear listings on the state or the city for daycare reviews, which doesn't make it easier either. I don't know what the guideline is. So, and neither did our board or the director, which made it a little difficult.
Right,
But it's not every day you move daycare though, so.
yeah.
I guess to follow up on Mr. Schweiberger's question, the people attending, has that dropped, increased because of all this moving and everything else that's going on?
The families are being very patient. We have sent out reminders that we could, close down for moving weeks. We've tried to be very open with them, just so there's no surprises like, hey, we don't have daycare this week, day before. The preschool program may have taken a hit for enrollment due to, we're gonna be in this new building, but no, we're not. What maybe we are, a little miscommunication because we don't know. So trying to be as open as possible, but that's not very, as a mother, that's not very comforting to hear when you're enrolling.
I'm just curious because you're moving to a different location, which is away from town, basically. Has that affected the amount of parents that want to still bring the children to the daycare?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think we are still getting calls for openings. And the buses are still there for pickup and,
Yep.
Okay.
And the last resource meeting that was held, I attended last week, I do know that this new location, from that conversation from PIA, they're really pleased about how much, more light is in there, how much more open, it's updated space, all of those things. So there's lots of positives with going to the new location, but yes, any move is gonna, while you're operating, in the middle of operations is gonna cause some hiccups. So
Right.
we've been working with them along with the resource network as much as we possibly can to smooth that out, but there's nothing that's gonna handle all of it, so. We just try and keep in
The other
close
factor
contact.
is you're right off 37 versus going through neighborhoods to access your
Right.
existing. So it's a much quicker
Yeah.
access to the new location.
It'll be good when it's all said and done.
right. Yeah, we are excited too, just with the new location. And, people might think it's a new daycare or, it could help enrollment.
That could help your attendance.
Absolutely. Something new.
There's no way a move would have been worse than where they were located.
Right.
We'll say that.
Yes.
Rather than trying
Yeah.
to spruce up where they're at, they definitely.
Yeah. It would have cost way more to do that, yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be
Correct.
an upside.
absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Excellent, thanks, Maria. And the final presentation tonight is just a quick recap on the AMGS expansion project. Patrick Gallagher is the new project manager. He's here from Kraus Anderson. Is the presentation up, or do you need me to get that for you?
It is not up.
Okay.
So a new face, I am Patrick Gallagher, project executive for Kraus Anderson. I handle the construction operations for the Iron Range.
Okay.
In the absence of Todd Erickson, who's enjoying his retirement in Europe right now, well-deserved. Just give you a quick update on where we're at, working with Jason. And I believe you've addressed the board several times before.
Yes.
You want me to forward them or you? Okay.
And just the arrows.
Okay.
There you go.
Our normal agenda that I went off Todd's template that he's given you before, and we'll go through this relatively quick. For safety, we've had no OSHA violations or injuries on the site. We have about 1 week of time left, and when I say that, working hand in hand with Jason, as he installs equipment, which he's building a lot of it to put in place, then we come in and hook up the electrical, or we hook up the sprinkler heads. So working hand in hand, and I think it's going quite well. A couple of key milestones here, and I'll just hit some of the red ones. The powder coat equipment is one of the last things we have to hook up. And we originally thought we'd have that by the 12th, went and met with Jason on site today. It's gonna be closer to the 19th, when he will have all of the equipment moved over from the old facility, and then we'll get that finalized. We are working, right now we have the light poles did arrive, and we got those installed, so the parking lot is lit up as well as the front sign. And the final electrical inspection, after we get that final equipment hooked up, we will then get the final electrical inspection, and then we can get the final occupancy. Right now, we have a temporary occupancy as of the 14th of July, and I believe you knew that from previous presentations, and then we'll get the final at the end of September here, when we can get the final electrical inspection. The mechanical equipment has been started up by the factory reps, and they did conduct training with Jason, so he now has control over his mechanical systems and has a lot of the information. We will provide a final packet for closeout to him when we have everything finalized. When will we have it all finalized? Definitely by the 13th of October. I believe your next board meeting is the 14th. We'll have everything over to you, Betsy, before then, so that we can give you the final numbers and provide that information. On the progress, the fire alarm system is now hooked up to the data system. It's no longer on a cell phone system, so that is a good thing. Fiber optic communications and data are all up and running, and your office is occupied and things are working. I went through there today. Does not seem to be any issue at all in the office. August and September here were the equipment hookup time, and like I said, as Jason builds this equipment, we're getting it hooked up. We still have to hook up the final gas connections on a couple of these items as well. And again, it'll be the 19th of September. Have that all in there before the ribbon cutting. The mechanical, electrical, last thing was we are reseeding a lot of the area around the building today. I don't know if you've been by there, but some of the seed did not take. So this is like your last chance season-wise to get that to grow before everything goes dormant. So they are working on that today so we can close out that SWIP permit and be able to finalize that. So the final budget status, we have 594, 403 yet to build. That includes retainages too on a lot of the subcontractors. So we are definitely 92% complete on the billing itself. And that as of billing number 13, which was through 31 August. And this is our contingency balances. In talking with Betsy today, I included an item that was for design that she's paying direct. So there's actually $24,938 more in your design and Heda contingency available. So I'll just give you verbally the numbers. It should be $391,624 for the expenditures, and it should be $157,317.94 for the balance. And then that will track with the numbers that you report, Betsy. The KA contingency is, as you see there, we have $292,570 available, and we only know of about $5,000 more that would come out of that, finalizing the sprinkler heads within those booths for the powder coating and the rework of the ductwork. So As soon as they get that completed, they're going to be on site tomorrow, get that finalized, and then we'll have those final costs. So the ribbon cutting is September 19th at 11:30 to 1 o'clock. Going to do that inside the building, correct? That way, rain or shine, we're good to go?
Yes.
Not that we ever get bad weather up here. Lunch provided, I put that in there just to draw them all in. All right. Any questions at all on the ribbon cutting or anything on the project itself?
Just a huge congratulations.
Yes.
That's,
Yeah, it's really
Made
looking
it.
good.
so that's good.
The
I know.
change order
Jason's
detail,
sleeping.
the change order detail is current all the way through change order number 21, which was the additional ductwork over that powder coat, or the ovens and those sorts of things. And the budget is correct in your packet as I have it in there, so, including the numbers that Patrick and I discussed. It's all correct.
All right. Any other questions?
No,
I don't believe so.
I'll see you guys on the 19th.
Thank you very much.
That's right, yes.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, so we are on the department and committee reports.
Right, first item I have for you tonight is a request to approve the first addendum to purchase agreement with JT Ventures LLC for 1,111 7th Avenue East, Hibbing, Minnesota, 55746. This is amending only the anticipated closing date being on or before October 31st, 2025, due to a request from the lender and from Yoder, JT Venture LLC.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion made by Counselor Schweberger,
Support?
supported by Mayor Hyduk. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Excellent. The next item is a request to set the next regular HEDA meeting for October 14th, 2025 at 5 p.m. That's a Tuesday, which is outside our normal schedule. And it would be set for the Hibbing City Council chambers. We do need to ask Andy as part of your discussion here tonight if that's going to work for him, though, because he would have a Public Utility Commission workshop at the exact same time. So unfortunately, there's the holiday on October 13th, so we cannot keep that same day.
By the nature, this is an action meeting and that's a workshop. When this meeting ends, then I'll go downstairs. So that was my plan with the conflict.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you, Andy.
thank you, Andy.
So does that work for folks? Is that something you all can accommodate in your calendars?
October 14th.
Yeah.
October 14th at 5 p.m.
I don't know of all the other meetings around town, so.
I'm available.
Everybody else available on that date?
Let's see, Leah said
Okay
she-
for the move?
You'll send out a reminder, then a new date?
Yep, I'll update the agenda schedule that I sent out that puts it on your calendar.
Perfect,
So 5 at October 14th.
correct.
So we
Put it
just
in
need a
right now.
motion and
I'll
motion with that.
Motion approved.
Motion made by Counselor Schweberger,
Support?
supported by Vice President Drainus. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to E.
The next is that request to approve the Hibbing Parents Nursery School request for an extension to the end of October 2025 for their current lease.
Do we have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to approve that extension.
Motion made by Mayor Hyduk.
Support.
Supported by Counselor Hoffman Sockman. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is a request to approve the Jefferson School redevelopment project site readiness phase and the pertinent agreements as presented. The total site readiness project budget stands at $85,000. We did receive approval for $42,500 from a Department of Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation Development Partnerships grant, and then the other $42,500 would come from the HEDA budget line item 255-46-6500-490. And in your packet tonight is the project budget, including wetland delineation, the pre-demolition asbestos and hazmat materials inspection, boundary and topographic surveys, Phase 1, title work, TIF analysis, municipal advising, legal fees, and miscellaneous.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Mayor Hyduk,
Support.
supported by Vice President Drainus. Is there any further discussion on that one?
Madam President, this will allow us to get the site prepared for a grant request to deed for demolition of that building and moving forward into next steps.
To get it to shovel ready. Okay, we have a motion second. No other further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we can move on from Betsy to Sheena, the Finance Director.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. This evening, I have updated our City of Hibbing Heda loan balance schedule for your review. Just a few comments on this month's loan draft and the balances. I would like to note that 2 of Lisa's loans were paid off this month, the one at 2125 Second Avenue East and the one at 3131 First Avenue. Andy did also inform me that on August 26th, the paperwork was served on Moxie, and now she has a response period, I think, until about September 15th, so I will update you on that. This month, when we did the ACH for the loan payments, we did get 1 return draft. It was for Wicked Apothecaries COVID loan, so I'm working on following up with her and getting that caught up. And then we did receive the loan documents back from Iron Range Management for that white building on 4th Avenue East, so he's going to begin drawing on that, and then he also executed the business subsidy agreement for that. That's pretty much everything else is current on the schedule, and our cash balances in each fund is approximately just over $1 million in Fund 250, and then in our storefront renovation fund 420, we have $215,000. And then in the deferred loan program, we currently have $87,000, and then you'll be considering some other additional loans tonight. So if those get approved, then those would come off those balances as well. Does anyone have any questions on the schedule?
No. Good update.
Yep. Looks pretty good, Sheena.
Thanks.
Okay, then we can move on to number 3, City Attorney Andy Borland.
Madam President, the only thing I was going to mention, as you could tell by tonight's presentation from Mr. Lees, is that with him purchasing the building, I'm in a business relationship with him now. I'm one of his tenants in that building, so just so the board is aware of that when you're voting. But I still think I can do the work on behalf of Heda, but I just want you to be aware of that. Thank you.
And Andy, can you also give an update on Arrowhead Motorcycle and where we're at with the
Sure.
being able to reclaim the
So our
contents?
process server is still going back and forth between trying to serve her where her purported residence is, as well as her employment. They don't have her served yet. I was holding off until I knew she'd been served, about then mailing notice to say that all of the property was out of there, and therefore the timing was to say you only have so long to answer. But until I got her actually served with that action, I don't feel comfortable trying to mail something to where we can't verify that she actually got it. So that's where that is right now. As soon as I know she's been served, I will let Betsy know and Greg know.
So what that's holding up is the RFP for somebody, or a request for offers, for somebody to purchase the contents inside there. We're now coming up pretty close to when the fire department's gonna start training in there in the month of October. So, you know, we're gonna have to carefully navigate this, but, Candy has had all of the other folks who had consignment in there. They've all been through there and gotten their stuff. So at this time, it's just the new equipment or the new contents for sale or what have you.
Betsy, and you can tell me this later if you don't know, does the city have the ability to take those items off-site in case you want to move forward with the fire training and still then notice and sell those? I didn't know how much space that those
Right.
items that are remaining take up.
At this time, we hadn't made any plans to do so, to
Sure.
pack and move, no. So I'm not exactly sure what we would do if we run into that deadline.
I'll follow up with you. We
Yeah.
need to talk about other things later this week, so I'll follow up and see where the server is, okay?
Yeah, sounds
Thank you.
good. Thank you.
I just have a question. Back when I had Range Sports, I was able to take Dave Glumac's old store from the mall and sell that merchandise for the bank. Is that something that the city would be, if someone came forward and said they would sell that for the city and give the proceeds to the city?
We're gonna send out what's called a request for offers to do something like that, either purchase it all outright to pay back whatever is still outstanding on the loan, or do some kind of an right. The
Consignment.
city staff is not prepared to, operate a store to do
No,
that,
I
so,
understand.
yeah.
Understand.
So that would be part of that request for offer, and I don't know, Mr. Egan, that we had thought about it that way, so we can put it out with a couple of options, and folks could come forward one way or the other.
And I think to answer Andy's question, when I did that, we were able to take that merchandise from the mall and bring it down to the Elks building where it was located. So there was
Okay.
no legal side of it.
Right.
Fabulous. Thank you. Appreciate that update on a potential other option.
Andy, that's it from you?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. So then,
All
we
right,
can move on to
so-
our loan requests?
Yeah, so you'll notice that we've switched the agenda around just a little bit. That's because we now have a HEDA in email box that Sheena's department and I will both see. So potentially, there will be somebody else working with each of the loan clients. And so we moved it into its own section so that the presentation will be a little bit smoother. So the first request then is in your packet, the Iron Range Makerspace Deferred Loan Write-Up. The eligibility is investment in the building renovations to enhance the lifespan and assist with accessibility. The overall economic impact is that it will make some much-needed improvements to that iconic Howard Street building to enhance its lifespan and ensure that accessibility long-term. Staff recommendations is a deferred loan will be 100% forgiven on the first day of the 6th year after loan execution, provided the requirements for job creation, retention, and building improvements have been met. The location property taxes are current, and the location's utility bill is current at the time of forgiveness as requested. We appreciate being listed then also as an additional insured on the business policy. So the request is in front of you for $6,138.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Mayor Hyduk,
Support.
supported by Member Egan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to number 2.
Item number 2 is a request for Hibbing Heating and Air Conditioning's revolving loan request. This loan request is for $45,191.48 on a total project of $135,588. This eligibility is within priority 1, investment in building renovations to assist business owners for the rehabilitation of commercial properties. And let's see, because this is the revolving request, one second, make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Analysis of repayment is that the business and the borrower's global income show ability to make the payments. They have the necessary skills to manage the renovation project and continue to make gains in their business financial performance. The recommended loan terms are at 3% for 10 years, interest only for 6 months, or full disbursement of the loan proceeds, whichever is sooner. Disbursement of the loan proceeds with appropriate invoices for renovations on the subject property listed as an additional insured on the business insurance policy, ACH payment required, and personal guarantee required based on the documents provided.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Member Egan. Support. Supported by Member Hoffman Sockman. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 3.
And I won't reread the entire thing. This is for the same business for their second loan request tonight. They do also, I will mention, have a BRRRR grant and personal equity and a bank loan in this project.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Vice President Juranis and supported by Member Egan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Excellent. The final loan request tonight is the deferred loan request for 1907 East 3rd Avenue East. That request for the loan is $36,302.25. It will completely use up the rest of the funds in the deferred loan 402 fund. Is that correct, Sheena?
422.
422. Again, the same requirements, 100% forgiven on the first day of the 6th year after loan execution, requirements for job retention, building improvements, property taxes, and the utility bills are all current. And the rest is in line with our loan fund guidelines.
But do we want to add pending securing the remaining, is that the? one?
Correct, he has to
Okay.
demonstrate the remaining financing, just because he had that there would be additional loan secured, so. But Sheena can do that with the paying out a third of each of the invoices as she moves through if needed.
Thank you for,
I'd
having
like to
heard
make a-
that, Madam President, I'll make a motion to approve.
Never mind.
We have a motion on the floor from Counselor Hoffman Sockman,
Second?
supported by Member Cameron. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, so that sums up our loan requests for tonight.
Yeah, so just the final things are a few discussion items. 400 block redevelopment project update. I'm waiting for an update from LHB on the demolition project. They're getting me some dates on, the bid timing, the hazmat mitigation, and those sorts of things. I will get you a schedule sent out via email, so look for that to come. The fire department has requested permission to flow some water in there as part of their evolutions of training. That was granted by LHB based on the condition of the building and those sorts of things. So they're gonna get to do some additional things, which will work out really well.
Real life firefighting.
Yep, except for no fire,
Right.
no live fire, just smoke and water.
But make sure that they wear something in there to protect themselves, because it's a hazardous.
Yes,
Between the pigeons and everything else that have been in there, it's bad.
every single firefighter wears all of their
Yep.
PPE to go in, so, and then they do wash it after, based on their experiences. So that is all shaping up for the month of October for the training. I gave you an update last time on the 507 East Howard Building. We're still working with the county on getting that into alignment with the demo project for the 400 blocks, so we are working that through. And making sure that we can still keep on our timeline of demolition by the end
And
of
that is the old Able
2025.
building,
Yes,
next to Sportsman's.
correct.
Okay, and what is I know our time frame on demolition, our clock starts. So we're working with our developer on the 400 block.
Correct.
Where are we at with the developer?
We've gotten some preliminary financials back from them. I sent them off to Michaela Hewitt, who's our municipal advisor, to start reviewing. And we're just working through those things. As soon as Michaela and I are comfortable with the financials, we'll work with the IRRR to meet with them and go through what that gap looks like.
Okay.
So it is coming together fairly smoothly, but a little herky-jerky at times. The hope is that the IRRR will have a second meeting before the end of December or very early in January to assist with that project.
Okay.
So we're working to get them the information.
So is that going to determine how you're moving forward with that? Can you determine on our demolition date?
No, not necessarily. I am in the process of applying for demolition funds for the 402. Every other building has been secured for funding because the county will take care of theirs.
Yep.
So that's the only part that I'm waiting on funding for. But no, the work with the pre-development, we have 6 months to get all of that together,
Okay.
so,
Thank you.
yeah.
So if we do demo, we'll have a written or some type of financial from the developer. I don't want to see an empty spot and we have nothing to go in there after we demo everything.
So actually, a blank slate on that block is a much better look to that particular block than having those buildings that are there right now, because they are all substandard.
Oh, I know
So-
they are, but it's just the eyesore you're gonna see when it's tore down. All you're gonna do is have an empty block or an empty space and there's nothing there. And I understand that the buildings have gotta come down. I understand that. I used to work right across the street from them, so I know what pigeon heaven looks like. But I'm just worried that it's gonna leave a bad image of our community if we have a whole block that's empty. Nothing there.
Well, I kind of hear what you're saying, Mike, other than the burned out section that we have right now and the look of Ace.
Right.
There's part of that, I wouldn't mind seeing a blank slate rather than.
Well, and I
I
think
guess
it's
my
safety.
point is, I don't want to tear everything down, have a blank holder if we don't have an actual guarantee from the developer telling us what their financial is
Right.
and that they're actually going to go ahead with the project. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I completely understand what you're saying, Member Egan. That is what we're working towards. Because truly, in order to get to a development agreement that has all of those pieces in it, what our pre-development agreement says is that we will deliver a clean slate to
Yes,
them.
right.
So those
Right.
buildings
That
do
was
have
part
to
of
be
the-
done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's safety to our community as well. That's why they're coming down and that type of a thing, so.
yes.
Yeah.
But no worries, Member Egan. I pretty much eat, breathe, and sleep this project to make sure that it does happen and we get to that point, so it will, yeah.
I'm not originally from here, as a lot of people know, but I've seen a lot of projects that have been proposed, and a week later, we have nothing. And I'm just concerned, and I'm sure you're working very diligently with them to do this, and I understand why we have to tear the buildings down now. But I just want to, just makes me sleep better at night if I know we have a project in line that's going to go.
Just know that if nothing else, we'll have a parking lot downtown.
That's right.
So there's always gonna be something.
But we won't have anyone to drive down the field.
Still better than looking at those buildings. And that Able building is going to come down at the same time then, correct?
That'll be on the bid docket, and hopefully, yes, we can secure them all at the same time. Yep, yep.
Okay.
Excellent, okay. So, yes, we've been working through the process. We do have that timeline that we know starts ticking on the day that that demolition starts, so we'll be really focused on that and stay on top of it. The AMGS expansion update, he already gave that. I just wanted to, I had that on there in case I didn't get the other presentation. And then I just wanted to talk through the Heda meeting schedule. When we have our meetings on Mondays, there's a lot of holidays and things, so we're trying to adjust and move around those. But when we have them scheduled and then we have to move them around, then we run into everybody else's calendars and schedules and things. So this year, we were really lucky with only one that we've had to really move around. But I want you to be thinking about for next year's calendar, do we look at, is the, tying it more into a council meeting week, if needed, if that's something that works for you all. So we used to be that third Monday and, you know, we
We can
could
always
potentially.
move it to Tuesday of the council meeting. If you wanna avoid
Yeah, I
Mondays.
think,
Yep,
I like that suggestion. That makes sense.
yep. It would be
really
like a
does.
first or a third Tuesday then, at 5 o'clock.
Right.
Just something to kind of think, because that would avoid our public utility meetings, which are second and fourth Tuesday. So I wanted to start putting that in your head and get some feedback on that, and think about it a little bit. Email me if you have any other thoughts on that one.
I do like, I'll just say, I like it being on the first or third, then you have a week where everything you can plan that week around.
Excellent, all right. So I'm just taking a note.
Madam Chair, before we adjourn, I just have one question, and I guess I'd like the other members of the HEDA to think about, and Betsy and Greg. What's the status on the campground? Are we proceeding with the campground? Are we not going to do anything with it? I mean,
Well, the
I guess I
water-
could ask you, Pete, what they're,
The water and sewer are in. Funding that we were looking for from external LMCR or LMC.
LCCMR.
Thank you, LCCMR, did not get approved. That's where we were looking for the remainder of that funding, and I think we're asking for it again this year at a reduced amount. So with all the other projects we have going on, especially the public safety building, that is our top priority, and we have to see how that all falls out before we can move forward. But we haven't forgot about the campground, it has moved forward. So yes.
and the reason I ask is a friend of mine runs Swan Lake, or not Swan Lake, but West Two Rivers,
Yeah.
and he runs it for the city.
Yep.
And they've taken in $96,000
Yeah.
on 32 campsites.
Yeah, we know it brings in money. Chisholm, I've talked to Chisholm and how well they've done. Campgrounds are can be very profitable.
Right.
You know, 15 years ago, when we started looking at this, we had, DNR was willing to expand and move that bike trail from Chisholm to the lake, so that if we had a campground there, all they do is get on their bike and off they could go, so.
So, Mr. Mayor, would you like to also speak to, because it's so newsworthy, the nice gift that the Hilligoss Family Foundation made to Cary Lake? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I can speak to that.
Thank you.
The Hilligoss family, in honor of Don, Dorothy, they've committed $75,000 towards a new pavilion at Cary Lake by the beach.
Mhm.
So, and we did do, all the roads were done at Cary Lake. So we have quite an investment in Cary Lake right now as we move towards the campground.
Oh, that's
But
wonderful.
the Hilligosses, you know, what can you say? They loved walking out there every day. And when they reached out, and then Nick was connected to, and they've looked at many different projects they could do, and a new pavilion out there is what.
Have they looked at a location as far as what they're gonna do out there?
I don't, you'd have to ask Nick Carolla, where the location of the pavilion will be, but I think it was closer to the beach. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
And Madam
generous offer.
Very.
Members of the board, if I may, just, Mr. Egan, we did transfer that whole project and all of the funding into the recreation purview, so the EDA board probably hasn't had an update on that for quite some time, so I do thank you for the question, because it's always good to get that out to this audience as well.
Yep, I've had questions as well as to where it's at and where it's going, so.
I can honestly say, I know Ms. Brzezinski gets asked about it quite often. It is on everybody's mind. It's just, it's moved forward, just not at the speed we would like. And,
It's just close to me, because
Yep.
I was one of the original ones that started it, and back then, we had it pretty well set, and for some reason, it
Well,
faded
what we
away.
had was about 1/5 of the cost.
Oh,
That's
we
why-
had, yeah, it was like $350,000 to build a campground, and now
Yeah.
we're at 1.2 million. or
Right,
whatever it is.
right.
So,
Right. So now maybe everybody out there now is gonna know kind of where we're at with the whole campground thing.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that up, Mike.
And I will note too, we've received DNR and IRRR funding for that campground, so, you know, multiple different grants from the IRRR, and the DNR did contribute as well. And Nick continues to pursue outside funding and will continue, so.
That's wonderful. And thank you to the Hilligoss family for that.
Yes, it's great.
And it was in our bonding request last year, but there was no bonding. So,
Correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
is that all we have then for your the HEDA meeting schedule review?
Mhm.
Okay,
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Support.
motion made by Mayor Hyduk and supported by Councilor Schweberger. Further discussion?
Good
Hearing
luck,
none,
Vikings. That's all I can say for a
All
final
in favor,
discussion.
say aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Keep it close.